What's up, YouTube? Back again with another video. Today's topic is going to be I was born in the wrong generation. I would rather wish to be born in the 90s or, you know, 19th century because dudes were built different back then. It was more about trust, honor, and just being straight up a dude, a man, bro. Like this generation, I know is they say it's a lot of soft and weak people and stuff like that, and we're kind of brought up to believe that this generation is probably the only generation that isn't as strong. Gen Z, I'm part of Gen Z, isn't as strong as previous generations. We have more depression, we have more anxiety, we have all these kind of issues and economic, all this crap going on and stuff like that. And I'll be looking back at like, damn, bro, people from the old generation was just built different. There was something just strong, tough, and resilient about them that made them more trustworthy, honest, and probably the best to be around if you really think about it. Just back then, just think of like, bro, my dad, for example, he was born in 1973, boomers and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, around that time, there was just a lot of tough men and stuff like that. So he grew up in an atmosphere where it was kind of in the hood and in the ghetto and stuff like that. But he would have to like just be outside, just do anything, and kind of just learn and adapt while you're out there. But there's something unique about that. That when he tells me these small snippets of stories and stuff like that, kind of it is inspiring. I really do find it inspiring to really think about like just how my dad and how my parents back then kind of operated around that time without the internet, without YouTube, without Google or any of that stuff. They were able to kind of just function on the well on their own and just do fine and be tough from the experience and stuff like that. But over here we have too much information. We have too much misleading ass information that can take you one way, the other way, and this way and that way, and you don't know where to go and you feel lost. And there's too many hokey religions, too many hokey beliefs, too many hokey fakes, faith, faith, fakes, and then just overall a lot of a mess and what's been going on. I'm not really a big fan of it. I just, back then it was something to strive to be and to have that belief going on back in the day. So I just look at the 90s and just be like, damn. And also just like how men was represented in movies and stuff like that. Like, just look at how dudes were. Like, they were tough, stoic. Arnold, Sylvester, Bruce Willis, Dolph Lundgren, Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise, all those people, and just like they were able to kind of like breathe in to be stoic. Schwarzenegger as well. Like, bro, Schwarzenegger was like one of the main people that inspired me to like work out next to Stallone and stuff like that. So, just seeing how they were and how stoic and how badass they were in those films, they were like the toughest dudes of all time, and that was something to inspire to be. I still inspire to be like that, even though they're like fictional characters. But that's not the point of being fictional. It's something to inspire to be, an idea that you have in your head that if you can put in the work and believe in yourself, you can go to that level of where they're at. It may be all crazy, but hey, you got to be crazy to make it out here sometimes. You got to put that belief in yourself to even see the hopes of your dreams to make it through. And that's a fact, bro. Like, just this generation is just I don't like just the mindset of like everybody's trying to be out there to get everyone because of scarcity within everything, whether it be dating, money, clout, attention, all kind of stuff. Everyone's so focused on like followers and stuff like that instead of actually building something true and meaningful from within and having brotherhood and stuff like that. I don't have that many friends. But the very few I have do share a little bit of brotherhood, but it's very selective. I've been knowing these guys since high school and stuff like that. But my dad, he's been knowing people since like kindergarten or something like that, second grade. I'm like, dude, how do you know these people from this long ago? The storytelling, the arcs you guys must have had back in the freaking day, especially in the 90s, the 80s and 90s too. Like, I wish I was born in that generation because it's how cool and influential everything was. The music, the media, the clothes, the movies. Man, it just all hits different. Everything about back then just hits different. I'm like, now everything is just like oversaturated. Everyone's copying and doing the same thing, and there's nothing meaningful and truthful. Now I could be, saying this, well, but from what my experience and what my dad and everyone's been telling me from that generation, that this generation is completely different than how it used to be. Now they actually acknowledge like how different this generation is with dating and stuff like that and making money, moving out to your apartment. I remember my parents moved out when they was like 23, 24, 25, 25. So I'm like, damn. So it's different, but there's some way to adapt to it. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you got to figure out your ways to get better and get better, because nobody's gonna save you at this point. So you got to just adapt to everything that's been going on. But so many reasons why I just look at the past. I mean, like, yeah, we have technology and stuff like that, but I do miss just being able to connect with people. And the thing about looking back at the past, have you ever looked at those old like photos or those old high school, last day of high school videos on YouTube and stuff like that? How present everybody looks. That's the thing I really liked about the 90s, how present everybody was in the atmosphere. Everybody loved just to be there. They were just so energetic and everything was so natural. There was nothing like fake or weird behind the camera. Everybody just looked genuinely happy and they wasn't trying to do that. It was just natural. And of course, this is pre-internet, so like 80s, 90s, I would say. I'll go back to that, like, yeah, like pre-internet and stuff like that. So there's a huge difference. But yeah, everybody was so happy and so just alive and being grateful to be there and all kind of stuff. It's like, dude, man, bro. And just the stories, you hear from people like just hanging out, going to clubs, bro. You ain't gonna ever catch me at no damn club. The club back in the day, from what my parents and people from that generation would tell me, the clubs, that's where it was at. It was popping. It was popping over there, bro. Like people, like you actually go up to meet people and have actual genuine conversations and relationships and make memories just being at the club. The music, the vibes, everything. I'm talking about the 90s. Everything was popping back then. I seen videos on the internet. Tell me, come on, like man, bro. They been, hey, pop like it, they was getting turned. Damn. Here now in this generation, shit, I haven't been in a club in a minute. Everybody gonna be standing around. Dudes gonna be wanting to fight you and stuff like that. People trying to bring in guns and all kind of goofy shit, and everybody just there for attention. Girls just dancing on girls, and guys just looking for a fight. And it's like, okay, y'all on some weird goofy shit. I'm just gonna be not there, but I ain't gonna be nowhere near that dumbass shit. It's just stupid. But yeah, that's the thing. Another main thing, and just going to malls, Blockbuster too. Imagine seeing people. Now I'll say Blockbuster closed like around the late 2000s, so I kind of saw a snippet of it, but I wasn't there for when my parents were like actually in that Blockbuster where there was like meeting friends, meeting people and stuff like that, and having actual conversations and like meaningful relationships and like building off the chemistry with people, and just living life and stuff. So just seeing people after school and like, hey bro, you gonna catch this movie? Like that's a whole vibe. Don't get nothing like that nowadays. Shit, ain't nobody talk to nobody. Everybody keep their damn head down. Ain't no genuine conversations. People won't. Shit, you trying to talk to somebody, nobody ain't trying to talk, and that's a damn shame. And you just feel that energy. There's something magnetic about how it was back then when you hear people tell you about it. Just like, and it wasn't all hype too, because they lived the experience too. And I understand if you didn't live the experience, but if you were actually there, holy shit, props to you. Props to you. I'm missing out big time. I really wish I was there in that generation. I mean, I think it's probably one of the coolest generations ever, and just easier life and stuff like that. But you look back and reminisce, but you're not there. So just making use of this generation. Hopefully everything goes down with the economy. It's easy to buy affordable houses, and dating could be easier, and all kind of stuff could be getting easier, but probably not. So best thing you can do is just adapt to your surroundings and just get better through time. So it's the only thing you can do. But other than that, that's enough of me ranting, right? How do you feel about the 90s or the 80s or 70s? Mainly the 90s. How do you feel about that time? Let me know in the comments. If you guys really do appreciate listening to stuff like this and me go on about how this generation is, let me know in the comments and go from there. But other than that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and enjoy the next videos. Peace and stay safe out there.